This week's episode of Seasonal Discussions is sponsored by KLT Networking. KLT helps companies of all sizes and sectors to win more business via 15 sales intel groups throughout Aberdeen and Aberdeenshire, as well as through relationship building training for teams. Over £30 million in business has now been won by KLT Networking clients. To find out more and have a chat, email Andrew at kltnetworking.com. Only if you want to win more business, of course.
Primarily, I'm a radio host and I'm also a DJ, and I've also got what is called Just Beth Presents.
Do you have enough hours in the day to get through some of this?
No, I do not.
What's going on?
Radio was the start of everything for all the sort of creative side of things, and prior to radio, I worked in mental health, and I was sat there just by myself waiting for the category, and it came through and I just burst into tears. I was so buzzing.
How long before we see your face on the side of one of the buses up here?
Oh, I cannot wait for that to happen. So that's the dream.
Hello, welcome back. It's Seasonal Discussions. It's still my face, but the hair's slightly different colour. Apologies, at least you don't have to see the burnt back of my head is leaning against the wall. If you're new to the channel, click like, click follow, click subscribe, do all that stuff. But instead of us, focus on the creative people who are here instead. Give them a like, give them a follow. Because let's be honest, when it comes to Beth Wallace /Just Beth /Just Beth Presents, there is a ton of places that people can follow you online.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
How many different channels do you have to actually manage now at this point?
So I've got my, it's called X now, is it? Twitter X account. So that's Just Beth 15. Then you've got TikTok, which is Just Beth ____. I think there's 2 or 3 in there. And then Instagram is Just Beth _. And then there's an Instagram for Just Beth Presents as well. So yeah, a lot of TikTok, social media stuff going on. It's gets a bit much.
How many times have you experienced the, oh crap, I didn't mean to post that on that account?
I actually, touch wood so far, I genuinely think I've been okay. Like, the one thing that I did too, so when I was at Original 106, I was still working for the North East Suicide Prevention team. I once accidentally put up, we used to do like the question of the day or whatever it was at 3 o'clock, and I put it on the suicide prevention page or something like that. Something was meant to go on Original or whatever, and vice versa. Yeah. And I was like, oh God, that was meant to go on there. I think that's the only blunder I've had, but yeah, that was funny.
It's very, very easy to do. I used to manage one for the social medias for Granite City Roller Derby.
Yeah.
It was happening up here. And instead of posting on my own page of me mucking around in a warehouse at work at an old place, just randomly Granite City Roller Derby posted me popping bubble wrap and breaking cardboard. And they were like, it's just good to do with roller derby again.
Yeah.
Nothing. So from that point, I hand over the social media stuff to someone else if I can. Yeah. And they just keep saying to me, do you want to log into Instagram on your phone?
No.
Because it's never going to end well.
No.
It's not going to go fun. Well, listen, obviously we've mentioned at the start, there's a lot that you're going on, but for those who are listening or watching and maybe don't know who you are, give us a quick rundown on who you are, what you do now, and try and condense the list, because it's a big list.
Yeah.
Who is it?
So I guess primarily I'm a radio host. I'm on the big Scottish football show on North Sound 1, TFM, MFR, and Fourth One every Saturday afternoon, 2 till 6. You'll also hear me doing the travel sometimes in Scotland on Gary Spence's show in an afternoon, and I'm also a DJ. I've made some of my own tunes, some of my own music, played up and down at festivals, clubs across the country, and I've also got what is called Just Beth Presents, which is my own sort of events, parties that I started just to be able to play the music that I wanted to play and not have to wait for other people to book me and things like that. As well as doing the football show, I do cover shows. I've been on Radio 1, Original 106, I was there for a couple of years. And I'm on Mearns FM as well, which is a community-based radio station in Stonehaven, Portlethen sort of area.
Do you have enough hours in the day to get through some of this?
No, I do not.
What's going on?
I'm very lucky in that, the travel gig that I do on North Sound T and MFR, that's essentially my Monday to Friday gig. Yeah. That's my bill maker, my money. which I was offered when I was offered the Big Scottish Football Show, because it's only one day a week, obviously, and that's not enough money to live off. So because I don't start till 4 o'clock in the afternoon for the travel, and then I'm done by 6:30, it means that I've got this time and space to focus on the things that I want to do, which is the main thing. And I think part of why I'm doing so well the way I have is because I've got that extra bit of time that other people might not have, that's in a 9-to-5 job or whatever.
You've become very much a focal point of like a voice of the Northeast almost over these last couple of years. Like it's incredible the amount that you've grown professionally in such a short space of time, especially in radio, because it does take a long time for people to get invested
100%.
into it. How did you get started on the radio side of things? What kind of led you into that line of the creatives?
So radio was the start of everything for all the sort of creative side of things. And prior to radio, I worked in mental health, specifically suicide prevention for SAMH, Scottish Action for Mental Health. And that's what I'd thought I'd wanted to do for a long time. I'd worked and pushed to get into the industry. And I had initially done a job during COVID that was resilience coaching. So I'd be on the phone to people, 3-4 different people times a day. But I was in the house and not getting out and seeing people. And I would come out of sessions and I'd get really upset because there'd be all these lovely people on the other end of the phone that was struggling. And I was helping them and I was doing a good job because I had my own problems with mental health over the years as well. So that's what made me so good at it. But it was just too much. So then I ended up in a different suicide prevention job, which was community engagement, which was going out, raising awareness, do lots of training courses, etc. Again, really good at it, did enjoy it, but I was also Monday to Friday thinking about suicide all day. And as much as I wanted to help and make a difference, I don't think it was the best way for me to do that. So I decided that I wanted to find a new job, find something new to get into. And I was speaking to one of my friends and they were like, oh, why don't you go to Skills Development Scotland, get a careers appointment? I was like, I suppose that's a good place to start because I now have no idea what I want to do.
Square one.
Yeah, literally. And the woman that I was in the session with was like, oh, well, what did you want to do at school? I was like, well, I loved drama. I was really good at that. But when you're at school, like jobs like the arts aren't necessarily proper careers at that. So acting, TV, radio, all that kind of stuff. And we spoke about acting, TV and radio and kind of said acting, I would have to go back to uni, study for another 3-4 years. It's probably an easier game to get into if you're younger. Yeah. Because I would probably have just been starting my acting career at the age of 29 and you miss out on certain roles, etc. So I was like, well, that's probably no use. TV, I just had no idea how you get into that. But I've always loved music and I've loved radio for a long time as well. And I thought, oh, I'll give that a try. And coincidentally, through my work, an opportunity came up that was advertised looking for volunteers at Mearns FM. I was like, oh, great. I'll give this a go, give it a year, see how far I can get. And if it doesn't work, then I'll go back to the drawing board and start something else. But I done my first show at Mearns, and within that first year, I then ended up on Original 106, which I think was a bit of right place, right time, you know, asking the right questions, doing the right things to get into that situation. But in that year where I went, right, I'll give myself a year, I'm like, okay, I've got myself enough in the door already that I know that I can continue this and I'm good at this sort of thing. So that's how all the radio stuff started.
Yeah. It was, when you started off, when obviously Mearns was it still when it was based within the church? Stonehaven place, because I know they've moved a couple of times.
It was in Stonehaven then, and now it's based at Portlethen now. Yeah, so that was when I first started.
Aye, and from Original, was that when did you go when they'd moved to Marshall Square already, or were you at the old Tullis?
They were already at Marshall Square when I first got there, so
you had the nice fancy studio.
Yeah, because it was funny going from the Mearns FM studio to then the Original studio. I was like, wow. And then as you go, you've been to like the Fourth and the Clyde studios, and again, that's like a little bit of an up. And then when I've been to like Capital Scotland or Radio 1 studios,
Radio
I'm like,
fancy shiny toys. I did briefly, well, I say briefly, did it for about a year or so as well, the breakfast show on Shmoo FM.
Okay, yeah.
So again, from the community side to then I went into, Martin Ingram was actually the guy who
cool.
taught me into, it was Damien McLeod originally while I was at college. Damien put me in touch with Martin. I went up to the original studios when they were still on. And even then, going from Shmoo into that was like,
wow,
heaven.
Yeah.
And that was only in the second, like Studio 2 as well. So it was a tiny little news and prediction when I'm like, this is ace.
I think when you're a radio nerd as well, you're like, oh, what does that button do and stuff like that. And I'm a total radio nerd. Like, you get different people in radio that just like, enjoy the presenting and having a laugh. And then you get like your proper radio anoraks that can tell you like who was on this breakfast show at what time and stuff like that. So
I think you posted a photo a while ago. I can't remember if it was on Instagram or it might have been a TikTok video. And I don't think you were in the studios up here. It was one when you were working somewhere else. And I commented on it going, is that a Genesis playout system that I see sitting on the screen in front? I'm like, wait, there is someone else who still uses Genesis playout. You get those just little things that stick in your head about, the radio nerds we're a small breed. That's the thing. A lot of people now look at radio and they say it's dying. I don't think radio's dying. And I've been trying to get your thoughts on it. I think it's just changing. It's developing. It's not dying off. It's just moving platform slightly.
I think you're correct, is that it is moving platform slightly because all radio's recorded now on cameras and put on social media now.
Yeah.
And, this is where you're going to have to try and transfer listeners from social media to the physical radio. Everyone basically has Spotify in their car now, right? And you can choose what you want to listen to, rather than it being dictated for you by the radio station. So in that sense, you've lost people a little bit in that way because you've got the freedom. Also, podcasting has become so much more popular. I know sometimes, like if I'm in the car, I'm doing one of my long journeys, I just want somebody to talk to me so that I'm not with my own thoughts or whatever.
You think there's other people here.
Yeah, so the fact that, Spotify came in, podcasting has came in, there's all that to it, but it still doesn't have what radio has where you feel a part of something, a community, that live element to it where anything can happen. And the best thing about radio is listeners, because they come with the best stories, the best content.
Yep.
All my favourite bits of radio or radio I've done have always involved a listener, and you won't get that anywhere else.
Yeah.
So I think it's changing, but I don't think it'll ever die.
No, this is the thing. It's a background medium. It's never been the most like TV, like film, like everything else. It's never been the most interactive. Yes, people will get involved, and like you say, listeners do make it. 'Cause without them, it doesn't exist. Radar wouldn't be as big as it is if people didn't actually engage with radio and join in with it. But it's also one of those where you don't have to be physically involved in it and engrossed in it for it to still be on.
Yeah.
It's like you say, it's a background thing. It's like people do with podcasts now. It's nice having that other thing. I think radio provides that over just having the music on all the time. Because you'll get the breaks with the ads. You'll get the presenter giving you stuff. Presenters are such a huge part of it. Radio's not just about the music.
No, and like when I've got the radio on, I'm not listening for the music.
Exactly.
I'm listening for the person. I'm listening for Greg James. I'm listening for Gary Spence and Stephen Mill or Boogie in the Morning, whoever it may be.
Yeah.
That's what I'm listening for. I'm not listening for Ed Sheeran again.
It's like, yes, this same Ed Sheeran song that I've heard 3 times in the last 3 days. I usually just listen into original, wait for Claire and bugger up and forget she's put one of the faders down again. She's been doing that so often in the mornings original lately. It's just like the song starts playing. She either goes to turn her mic off or turn something off and puts the wrong fader down. The song just shuts off completely.
It's that time of day you're just not really sure what's going on sometimes.
Love that side of it. That's what
The mistakes are fun. Yeah. Like some of the funniest bits, like one of my biggest blunders I'd done, me and Lachlan from original, always have a laugh about it. Finally by CC Peniston. I said CC Peniston, did I? I was like, oh no.
Yeah. It's one of those where you think as well, like, do I acknowledge that I've done it or do I? But I think radio tends to do that more.
Yeah.
Radio presenters will acknowledge a mistake and be like, whoops, we did this. Whereas if it's on TV or something, they'll try and brush over it and let it go.
It's a laugh and like it makes you human and relatable. And that's the thing about radio as well, is it's relatable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it does differently to TV and film, because Joe Blogs is listening and we're talking about I mean, we talked about in the Big Scottish Football Show the other day that Steve Cowan cuts his toenails in the garden. And it's just dumb shit like that. But that's this kind of stuff folk that'll go and have conversations at home and be like, oh, I do that too, or whatever.
Yeah. Is it they'll bring it back, and it's something that then, if they're listening to it as a background thing, it'll pull their attention back into what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
They then become actively going, hang on, did I just hear what I think I heard?
Yeah.
It baffles me why so many people still think radio is just not the same as it was. It is. It's just there seems to be less people engaging with it, which sucks.
I think as well, like, people grow out of radio stations, or, you know, their listening habits change. Like, loads of people will say to me, oh, Radio 1 isn't what it was. I'm like, yeah, but that's because you're not in your 20s.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not the target market anymore. It's not aimed at you.
Yeah, switch
of
over
course
to
it's
BBC
not
3
what
and
it
just go with
was.
it.
Yeah, except that you're now graduated to Radio 2 or Radio 6 or whatever. But
the pain. The pain of admitting that out loud as well. Just, I miss North Sound 2. I must admit, I do miss North Sound 2 up here. That was a nice alternative. It was like North Sound 1, but less professional.
yeah,
Which I think was a great way of approaching it.
that's a big way that radio has changed, is obviously a lot of it has been nationalised. You've got less local radio, and we're quite lucky up here. Obviously, there's very limited local stations now, but you do have Original 106, which is pretty much fully local.
Yeah.
And North Sound 1, although a lot of it is coming out of Edinburgh or Glasgow, you have the ability to do splits so that it's the same radio show that's going out into MFR, but we'll be talking about Aberdeen Football Club while they're maybe talking about Rangers and Celtic, etc. So it gives you the ability with the technology to still make it local. But like any industry, jobs have been cut. Money has to be saved. We're in difficult financial times, etc. I just think people see that more because that's a medium they're engaging with all the time, and it's front facing, where they might not be engaged with Wood Group or McDonald's or any big companies like that. So
yeah, it's an interesting development. I do think there are less opportunities to be involved in radio than there was. Of course there is, because like you say, with nationalisation of a lot of it, it's going to happen. But again, because radio itself is changing and the platforms that it's put out on are changing, it just means that those company-based opportunities have disappeared, but creatively it still opens up a lot of opportunities for people to do their own things.
Yeah.
So like you now have the time, like you say, to go and do your own projects and do everything else. We'll get into them just shortly, but I'm intrigued to know how the opportunities at doing things like Radio 1 and stuff came about for you.
Yeah, so I guess the radio journey was, I started in Mearns. I'd done a couple of months there, and luckily had a pal who kilts Wahey in Aberdeen. They were advertisers in Original 106. I was like, oh, get me an email from somebody in the sales team so I can ask for work experience. Yeah. So I asked for work experience, and in this email I was like, oh, by the way, I've got demos you can listen to at some point, which was a lie, by the way. So the guy came back and was like, oh, let's hear this demo. I was like, shit.
So about that demo.
Yeah, so I remember being at my boyfriend's at the time that I was with, and I was like, you've got to help me. And we're like sifting through all this audio because I'd said I had them. So I was like, well, I've got to make them quickly. So I think I'd done it in like 24 hours or whatever. But that was something I was good at, is like keeping all my audio and having all that, so that if someone does go, hey, we want to hear the demo, I'm like, okay, especially after that situation where I had to go, shit, I need to do it now. Yes.
I'd imagine you keep your stuff well organised as well.
I'm not, I do quite well, to be fair. But yeah, so off the back of that, got a show on Original on a Sunday evening, which was voice track to begin with, and then I started to do lives on a Sunday afternoon. Original made some changes in their lineup, which meant that there was going to be more work available for me, which then allowed me to leave my job in the mental health industry to go into radio full time. And it wasn't quite just enough in full time hours wise, but I still live at home even now. So that's been lucky for me that I've had that privilege, and I know it is a privilege. It's allowed me to push this a little bit more in the way I have.
I think that's a sensible approach to take, though. That's understanding your circumstances and doing what you want to do.
Well, exactly. Like for me, you know, living in a flat by myself or moving out is not that important, where this is important to me. It's my dream. It's what I'm pushing for. And my dad's my best pal, so I'm very lucky with that.
Follow Beth on socials.
Yeah.
You'll soon see just how real that is.
But yeah, so I was lucky in that sense. So went full time at Original, and I'd been offered something at Northsound before when somebody went off maternity leave, but it wasn't the right opportunity because it was only short term. So I said no then. And then they came back and offered me the Big Scottish Football Show. And a lot of that was, pushing the football stuff on Twitter and just being very active on social media, having that presence, people knowing who I am in Aberdeen and that, because they were looking for an Aberdeen fan to join the show. And I think they just seen that I was doing well at Original and seen an up and coming talent that they wanted part of their team. So that came with that. And then the Radio 1 stuff. So Radio 1 every year most years, sort of an open call for Christmas presenters. You submit a demo. I think about 1,000 people normally enter, and they maybe pick. They've done different numbers every year, but I think there was about 20, 30 people that got picked in my year. And I got a couple of shows off the back of that. The first time I entered, I had never nothing back. But the year that I did get it, that whole year in my head, I was like, right, everything I do this year is that I need to make myself completely undeniable. That when Radio 1 look at my social media, they look at my demo, they go, right, this is good, we'll give this girl a chance. And that I'd done a couple of cover shows in Capital Scotland that year. I'd joined the Big Scottish Football Show. I'd been Original, so I had real big brands, radio brands under my name, etc., etc. So the social media part is a really big bit as well, is because, the likes of Radio 1, they're looking at a lot of TikTokers, influencers now, because we were talking about radio changing and radio dying. Radio is struggling to get that younger listenership off of social media, etc., which is understandable. We're all trying to struggle to get anyone's attention.
Yeah, exactly. Anything for more than 5 seconds.
Yeah, TV, they're designing series and films now because with in mind that people are probably watching it while looking at a phone screen at the same time. So yes, Radio 1 are looking at followers and things on social media. So I knew that social media was important as well. So that was the kind of the things I focused on. So I got those 2 shows, and then about this time last year, I was nominated for Best New Presenter at the Arias, which is basically like the Oscars for radio in the UK, which blew my mind. I was in Italy at the time when the nominations came out, and I was sat there just by myself waiting for the category, and it came through, and I just burst into tears. I was so buzzing. And I FaceTimed my dad, so I had to hold it together for a minute because I was in a different country by myself, and I knew he wouldn't have remembered that's what I was waiting to hear. So I was like, I've been nominated, and then I burst into tears, so they knew that I was fine and not being attacked in another country.
Why is she phoning from here? What's going on? Why is she calling me in tears? Why did this call start with her in tears and not able to get a word out? What's going on?
But yeah, from that, I think, again, I stood out to Radio 1 a bit. So Radio 1 have early breakfast on Friday mornings, which is 5 till 7 in the morning. That's kind of been a free slot that they've used to try out people. And I got to do a month of that in September of last year. So yeah, I've got a few shows through in Radio 1. Nothing else coming just now, but I think it's always just keep knocking on the door and reminding people you're there, which I think I've done all the way through my career so far. I think, although I'd turned down the job at Northsound before, I kept reminding them, by the way, here's a demo, just in case anything ever pops up, etc. And I'll do the same with Radio 1. I had shows at Capital Scotland, that's what I did. I was like, blah, 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 I'm here, etc. I'd cover shows there. Just reminding people that I'm there. Yeah,
I think that's the one thing you are 100% a testament to is tenacity and just continuously putting stuff out. I think that's where a lot of people go wrong when it tries to, in any form of content or any form of creative, it's keep putting stuff out there. Keep putting it, make use of social media.
Yeah.
Things that if you're just putting a post up once a week on Instagram and stuff, you're not going to get that same kind of traction as you will with everything else.
And I hate it. Like, don't get me wrong, sometimes I'll edit my videos and I'll enjoy it and I'm like, oh, that's a really good video, and I'll watch it back and I'm like, that's fun.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have to do social media, I wouldn't be doing it. There's times as well I'm like, I would delete all this if I could.
Yeah.
But it's been such a tool for me with profile, with companies knowing who I am, what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Everyone else knowing what I'm doing.
It's that discoverability factor of being on there.
Such a huge tool. And like you're saying, consistency. Like one of my big goals for this year is consistently posting on TikTok all the time, which maybe sounds really cringy, but it's just takes one video to change your followership, change your life. Like I've spoken to obviously like DJs who have had viral songs and it's just one video could change their whole life. They've got a whole career off the back of it. Couple of videos, if I get however many thousand followers, then radio stations will go, oh, well, she's got a massive following. That's a massive profile. Because radio stations, TV, they'll all go for people that are known as well. Like, you need to have the big names in there as well as your radio people who are good. You
need a sprinkling of popular people as well as the nerds who know what they're doing.
Yes, exactly. Like, you don't have to be a radio nerd to be good at radio, but then obviously there's loads of radio presenters who are radio nerds, and that's why they're good at radio. There's different people have different skills in that.
Yeah. I think knowing your niche when it comes to these kind of things as well, and by niche I don't necessarily mean topic, like it's not just about I am football, I am music, I am, news, but knowing your niche and how to present, not just on air, but present yourself as well. I think there's too many of the old sort of radio shock jocks that were, the smashy and nicey approach where everything was dialed up 600 times. It's like, it just doesn't work anymore.
No.
There is still an audience for it, of course there is, but having confidence in yourself to just be you when you go out and do stuff must be a big deal as well.
And I think if you look at the Scottish radio industry in particular, it's testament to that, because if you look at the lineup on, so let's take North Sound 4th, it's Boogie in the Morning.
Yeah.
None of them are famous.
Yeah.
They're famous for being on that radio show. You've got Grant Thompson, who's great. Then you've obviously got Gary and Stephen, who again have become famous because they're good at radio because of who they are as people. Callum Gallagher, Amber, the whole lineup. Nobody's like a big name.
Yeah.
Where like other radio stations sometimes go, right, this person has got millions of followers, blah blah blah. That doesn't translate to, oh, they'll be good on the radio, or all those followers will listen.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of why radio is doing so well in Scotland, figures wise, because it's real
the personalities
people.
That are
Real
going
people.
on there. Yeah, with that in mind, how long before we see your face on the side of one of the buses up here?
Oh, I cannot wait for that to happen. When
Lachlan's got his one on there now, isn't he?
Has he?
I'm sure he's been on a bus. I'm pretty sure I've seen him in the back of one of the buses.
Raging.
I could be wrong. But I'm
He's
positive
maybe up
I've
the
seen
back
his
of a
face in
bus
there.
with a bottle of Buckfast.
I was going to say, it might not have been an original advert. He might have just been hanging out the window at some point.
So that's the dream. Like,
it is like, it's little things like that, though. Having those little goals and things, being like, that's as
I
growing
want to be on a
up
bus.
Aberdeen-
Like, I just want my face on a bus.
Growing up in Aberdeen, seeing like McCroovy and stuff on the side of buses in the past and seeing them come through, be like, if I'm doing the radio up here, that's what I want. Then I know I've hit my own level. This is me. I've peaked now in Aberdeen radio.
Yeah, like, it would be pretty mad if that, I say if that ever happens. Like, I'm so determined that I don't think I would let it not happen, to be fair.
It's going to happen. I would, if I was still a betting man, occasional flutters in the weekends, but I'd say this year is very, very distinctly possible.
Oh, I don't
If
know.
you keep growing at the rate you are, not just like growing professionally, but growing in recognition of the work that you're doing, I can't see that being.
I think like it's the thing that's saying you've got to put in your 10,000 hours, and when I listen to like maybe like DJs talking about the journey that they've been through, it seems to be like, 10 years of real hard graft, and it is hard graft at times because it does have to take so long, because I think it has to sift out the people that really, really want it.
Yep.
And maybe go, oh, this would be a cool job, or I just get to turn up and be a DJ and be drunk for a living, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But there's like knockbacks along the way, and because you want it so much, it can be really devastating at time, and it hurts. And I think that's where then you differentiate. It's like, it's who's got the resilience to bounce back after all those knockbacks. Because there's been times I've been in floods of tears and it's taken me days to get myself back together, but you've got to bounce back, because if you don't, then you just give up.
Yeah.
And then
I think
what's the
that
point?
reaction to it, though, kind of tells you yourself, you're like, right, clearly I want this.
Yeah.
This matters to me, otherwise I wouldn't be getting this upset about it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be this impacted by it. I mean, we do the same thing with the business in here. We started, there's no savings.
Mm-hmm.
There was no nothing. I've spoke about it multiple times on here. We started randomly out of nowhere.
Yeah.
My partner and I finished college and we went, there's no creative companies hiring for us just now. Let's just start off and do our own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And in this past year, we're almost at our first year. And there's been times during that where we've argued, we've cried, we've had stuff going on, but it's like, I'm just not letting it end.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse. I will put myself into more debt to keep the lights on over the top. I don't care. And like you say, it sifts those people out who don't give a shit about it as much.
And it's really hard. And I think that's where the mental health background has really done me well, because when I was doing resilience coaching, you were teaching other people resilience, but you were learning loads yourself as well, and having my own mental health experiences has made me a stronger person, a more resilient person to go, right, let's take this on. And anytime something, there has been a knockback or whatever, I'll go, right, there's a reason for this. There's something else lining up or whatever. I done demos for Capital of Scotland quite early on while I was still at Original. I had no idea what I was doing demos for. I kind of got asked down and things like that. I was like, what is going on here? And I definitely wasn't ready 100% to be on a radio station at that level. But then had I gotten that opportunity, because you're contracted to Capital of Scotland, I wouldn't have been on Radio 1 and things like that. And Radio 1's my dream station. I love it. It's how I fell in love with radio, really. So that lines up well. Something else is coming or etc. That means you can't have that because you need to have this other thing. Yeah. So that's what I tell myself when I'm greeting in my car.
So basically the next plan is bus up here, then move to London. Face on bus into London for Radio 1. Is that do you see yourself long term moving out of Aberdeen? Obviously, I know you're still at home.
Right? I think ultimately that's what will have to happen. I do a lot of travelling just now. With the football fixtures this year. So normally I would be at an Aberdeen game on a Saturday afternoon. So that might be at Pittodrie here in Aberdeen, or depends where the game is. But because we're in Europe at the start of the year, a lot of our games were on Sundays, and just the way the fixtures have fallen, I've been in the studio in Edinburgh rather than at a game or whatever. And that means I'm travelling at least once a week. If I cover any show, I have to go down and travel. So there's a lot of driving that goes on, and it can be exhausting at times. Even Radio 1 was in Manchester, when I'd done that, DJ gigs up and down the country. So that is one of the really hard bits of it all just now. I'm knackered because we had Just Beth Presents on Friday night, and then I was on a train at 9:30, 10 o'clock Saturday morning to go to Edinburgh for the football show. Now, admittedly, I didn't have to drink as much as I did on Friday night.
That's the optional part.
I probably didn't help myself in that scenario, but it was a good time and it was worth it. So, but yeah, the weekends, because your work is on a weekend for the radio with football or DJing late nights, and I do stuff for Aberdeen Ladies, which is on a Sunday as well. Yeah, it's boom, 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 driving around, and then Monday I'm like, oh.
It can be a lot, I can imagine. And even when we were booking this, I remember it was just hang on a minute. We'd said originally we were going to record this last week or before it. And I did think at the time, I was like, you've got a lot coming up this weekend. Even I knew, and you were like, can we push back? I was genuinely, I'd been sitting there for the start of that week. I think I was on the Wednesday you messaged, and I was like, I'm waiting for it. It's going to click. Someone's going to be like, there's just too much going on.
Yeah. And sometimes I get in a panic. Since the start of the year, I've been quite good at making lists and ticking through stuff and being a lot more productive, and that just being a lot more planned and organised. Because I wake up in the morning and I'm like, what am I going to do today? I'm like, there's 1,000 things you want to do, so where do we start? But yeah, I sometimes maybe fill it too much. My dad always says that you maybe need to spread it out a little bit. And I'm like, but it's hard when a lot of your work takes place on a weekend. Yeah. But yeah, getting a little bit better at actually taking a rest sometimes.
Finding days to do anything. You mentioned this past weekend was another Just Beth Presents. Yes. How did Just Beth Presents come around? What is it and how did it actually come about?
So I DJ as well, DJ house music, and I only learnt to DJ because I thought you needed to know how to DJ for radio. Because I was looking at all the guys on Radio 1 like, oh, they do DJ gigs, blah, blah, blah. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then once I got more into radio, I was like, no, you don't need to know how to DJ, right? But I've always loved dance music. And I remember being in Ibiza with my pals when we were like 18, 19 in Amnesia. And I'm like, yeah, I want to be a DJ. This time next year, I'll be playing Amnesia, which of course did not happen. But then I learned to DJ, which was Aberdeen DJ Academy, which was great because I don't think it was something I could teach myself.
Yeah.
I'm somebody that needs like taught rather than sitting and reading books and doing it by myself like that.
Please show me.
Yeah. So learned through them, and I just really loved it and fell in love with it. And I just have such a passion for music as well.
Yeah.
So that all started, got some good gigs, and then it went quieter again, and that, which I think does happen naturally, because then there's like, oh, who's this new person? But then you're not new anymore, etc. What's making you different? What's standing out? But I wanted to play the music I wanted to play to a crowd, to everyone that was enjoying it. So I was like, well, rather than waiting for somebody to give me that opportunity, I'll just make it myself.
Go ahead and do it.
And I think that's a lot of the stuff, the success that I have had. I'm going, well, how do I get that? I want this.
Yeah.
This is the pathway to do that. So I'd done a few Just Beth Presents a couple of years ago, and then just it kind of died down. Was busy with radio and other things, and then I went, right, time to get it started again. So we've done 3 last year, I think. Done the first one on Friday. And it's hard going as well, because a lot of, when you get like DJ nights and that, a lot of them is like a group of pals that are into the same music, and they'll start it together. They've got mates, and then all these people come.
Yeah.
But a lot of my pals really aren't into it.
You're just like the one in the group.
Yeah. So it's just me. And I tend to be a little bit older maybe than people in the DJ scene, because it's like you maybe learn it at uni and start that way, where I came to it a little bit later than life.
Yeah.
Not that I'm that old, but
I was going to say, you're not that old.
in terms of that.
About 6 more grey hairs just came out of my beard at the same time there too.
So yeah, it's just me. So all the branding, all the decisions, all the financial responsibility, booking DJs, all that. And I done a video the other day. I was like, I'm worrying about all the logistical sides of it. And I've totally forgotten about picking my music and practicing. I'm like,
it was my own set list.
That's the whole point. Like, come on, Beth. So I do need to remember about that side of it a little bit more. But I think people are appreciating, like, I'm just being honest and open on social media, saying this is just me. This is one person. It's not about making money. It's about playing the music I want to play. And having a good time along the way. And people have been turning up, and it's been going well, and it's been successful. And there will come one point, for whatever reason, maybe there's something on in Aberdeen that night, or people just don't want to go out that evening or whatever. It won't be as busy, and that won't necessarily be a reflection on me, but it's like, see when the doors open and you're like, this room is empty right now.
Yeah.
And come the end of the night, you're fine. Like the past 2 of mine standing next to my boyfriend, and it was maybe like the back of 12, and I was like, this is one, it's not going to be that busy tonight.
This will be the quiet one.
And then I was wrong both times, busy, really busy again, so that's great.
Do you tend to open the nights yourself? Because obviously there's not just you on the night.
Yeah, so it just depends. Like on Friday just past, I did the middle set. So I try and pick, I really try and pick as well that I've got myself and another female in the lineup, because I think that's important.
Definitely.
A lot of lineups in the scene is just guy.
Yep. Can confirm.
And it's also like, I want to be in an environment that other women are in as well. It can be quite intimidating when you go into these spaces and it's just all men. So yeah, I always try and do that. And I'm trying to pick people that fit with my sounds. So it can be difficult to find the right person, especially at the minute, like in dance music. It's a lot heavier, sort of hard house, hard techno, hard style that's very popular. I'm like, no, that's not me.
A migraine waiting to happen.
So yeah, so it really depends. Like So the girl Aton that I had on Friday, she plays a little bit harder, not too hard for the genre of the night. So I'm like, well, it makes sense to put you on the end of the night. And then, another night I have a friend Gisette who's a DJ and plays the violin at the same time, which is amazing.
Nice.
And the night before, the busiest bit had been, say, 12:30 to 1:30 because, people get drunker by the end of the night and start to fade and that. So I was like, well, I'll put you in the middle because you're playing the violin. That's the main event.
Get the most energy out of
it
at the same time.
But then that time it got busier. I think, the pub shut at 1 on Belmont Street and other people come in. So it's difficult to tell. So I don't have a certain slot. I just kind of work with what goes in the night. Yeah.
You must have a good working relationship with Drummonds as well. I would imagine, because obviously that's your venue, that's where everything's held. But it is known as a live music venue in Aberdeen, but usually it's known more as live acts, bands and stuff that go on. So did you know someone within Drummonds beforehand, or was it just that venue seems like the rest?
There's a space within Drummonds downstairs at the bottom, which is D2, is where we do the events. And I think I'd just seen other people had started putting stuff on there, went in, had a look. I was like, cool. And the guys there knew me from radio and things as well. It's funny, when I went in, I was like, in terms of like my DJ's rider or whatever like that, do you need me to buy that from the venue? Or and they were like, you're the first person to ever have asked that. Everyone else just takes their drink in and just ask any questions. I'm like, okay, sound. So we've got something good here.
Excellent.
Yeah, so no, they're good with me. Any questions, any problems I have. So yeah.
Is it a good plan to keep on? I mean, it's nice to have that consistent venue as well, as opposed to constantly having to try and find somewhere else.
Yeah, I think as well, like the venue's 80 capacity. I think if you had 80 people in there the full time, it'd be an absolute sweat fest.
Yes.
Pretty tight. But there's no point having it in a bigger venue and making it feel empty. If it gets to the point where we're quite busy here the whole time, we maybe need to go to a bigger venue, then definitely we will look at other places in the city. But I like it being smaller.
Yeah.
It gives it that kind of like house party feel.
Yep.
People are meeting and talking to each other and that. It was nice, like one of the DJs that had Nathan Bertie on Friday, me and my boyfriend had been on a night out in Dundee and seen him playing. I was like, oh, this is class. We'll ask him if he's keen to come up. And like 5-6 of his mates came with him and they obviously had a weekend of it, had a great time. But the boys were so nice. They were going around introducing themselves to everyone, and it just had that feel to it, rather than like it being hundreds of people in the room that's disconnected from each other. And I think that's the beauty of club culture and dance music as well, is that it's a space to meet people and be a community. So that makes it special as well.
Community matters massively in these things. And I think what you're doing and what, unfortunately, it's ended now. Sabotage were doing with, the Sabotage nights that they were putting on. It's smaller venues, but it's people who, when they come to it, they're recognising people that aren't necessarily their friends in day-to-day life, but they're coming along going, I saw you at this last time. And that community starts to develop and build, and connections will build and grow out of it. I think what you're doing with that, what Matt did with Sabotage, and what other people are starting to do, even Nick from Vagrant Real Estate, what he's doing with his hip-hop community in Aberdeen, these smaller communities are what's needed. It's not a massive takeover of something to do the whole thing. You need these little independents that will keep the creative flowing within Aberdeen.
And like, obviously big promoters and that, they're there to make money in their businesses. Like, they're putting stuff on that'll sell tickets. But all of that doesn't exist without your grassroots level as well. You need somewhere for these big DJs to start. Like if you look at Hugh McVicker, Hannah Lane, in dance music wise, LF System, Hugh McVicker would play in Sub Club. LF System would play in Cabval and Fly, and Hannah Lane obviously in Dundee as well. So like, you need that underground to develop these people. Otherwise you don't have the big acts.
They don't go anywhere. And it can lead from doing underground things to doing bigger festivals like, I don't know, Granite City Fest.
Yes.
Going on this year that you're now involved with as well. How did that come about?
That's really exciting. So last year, Granite City Festival is in like a partnership with North Sound One. So we done sort of social media stuff on the day with them, which was really, really fun.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful day. The sun was shining, and just going about and doing creative stuff was class. And the music was amazing as well. So I'd done stuff with North Sound for that. There was a good video where we'd done like festival fashion and interviewed people. But it was funny. We got to maybe about 5, 6 o'clock in the day, and you were like struggling to find people that were suitable to talk to.
How many people can I actually get decent voice out of here?
And they're like, that guy looks okay, and he'd take his sunglasses off and he looks absolutely steaming. I'm like, we're done for the day here.
That's enough.
So yeah, it's I guess networking through that as well, talking to the organisers there. And I was like, all right, me next year. And they're like, yeah, totally. So it's just getting your name out there. I always find like every opportunity or every post or whatever, it builds and it grows. Like I'll play one gig and then you get invited to another gig.
Yeah.
Or you post about one gig on social media and you might get a couple of followers off the back of it, but then that's people that go, well, come do this, etc.
Yeah.
And even if you do something that only gains you one follower, it's one follower you didn't have before.
Exactly.
And as your following grows, like say it grows at 1% all the time, but 1% of 100 or 1% of 1,000 is obviously a lot bigger.
Exactly.
So I think as it grows, your growth will eventually be quicker and quicker.
It's that consistent growth. Let's say it's going to be little numbers to start with. Like you say, 1% of 10, 1% of 100.
Yeah.
You're looking at it going, it's not much. But then once you broach that number, it's all of a sudden 1% of 100,000, 1% of 1,000,000 that's going into it. And it's still the same consistent growth, but I think there's too much focus on numbers a lot of the time for some of it. And if you get too bogged down in the analytic side of things, you can burn yourself out because you start panicking and looking at it.
And just because it might not translate into followers, but I know an original, every single time I was on consistently, I would say, I'm on the radio today. I'm on the radio today. And I'd always post my photo. Yeah. And people have now learnt in Aberdeen who I am off the back of being consistent and being like, here's my face. Here's my face. Know this face.
Put it out there. That's the thing. It's so easy to just forget. But again, attaching an image to something makes a massive difference as well. I think that's one thing a lot of people miss off when they're doing Twitch streaming, going live, doing anything. It's like, okay, post a link to what you're doing, but get something that will grab people's attention that goes with it. Yeah,
and I'm lucky that I'm comfortable with myself and I'm confident to go, here's my face. A lot of people maybe
here's me.
Just uncomfortable with that, and I think my blonde curls stand out as well, which probably helps.
Do you know what? Your accent relates to a local audience as well. You will get engagement from those local people and stuff like that.
Exactly.
It's a big deal, and I think it is hard to overcome those kind of things. But when you've gone through, your own, I hate using the word mental health struggles. I think it's just a mental health journey.
Yeah.
Struggles is kind of it's the same when people say, I have this. It's like, that makes more sense. You have a thing as opposed to, I'm dealing with it.
We've all got mental health.
Exactly. And some of it's slightly more broken than others. There's a reason we end up in the creative industry because the brain never shuts up. But coming through those kind of journeys, it helps you develop as a person.
Yeah.
And I think everything that you've been through, everyone has a story to tell. And I think it's just such a big difference to get those stories out there. And it can be hard.
Yeah.
But again, testament to what perseverance and development of self-confidence is literally sitting in the sofa beside me.
Yeah.
So you're a credit to what can be done.
Thank you.
If you just put the effort in.
Yeah. It's just pure determination. Like, I think because I struggled for so long and I was so down and depressed, my mum died suddenly when I was 19. And a lot of that was very difficult.
Yeah.
But because I knew how crap life was, I just wanted it to be so good.
Yeah.
And it just made me so determined just not to feel like that. And I get overwhelmed really like a lot when lots of good stuff happens. Like, when Radio 1 have phoned and said, we want you to do this, or somebody's emailed and said, you've got this gig, I just burst into tears because it was relief more than anything as well. And I'm like, it's working, it happened, etc.
Validation.
Yeah. So I think those tough times, without them, I wouldn't be sat where I am radio DJ wise right now. It's made me resilient, and it's made me hungry for good times, really.
I think you're probably at that stage as well where you're quite happy to go if something's not working. It's done.
Yeah.
Let it go. It's okay. You find it a lot easier to just let go of things a bit easier if they're not working for you. Like I used to cling on to stuff massively, especially if it was something negative.
Yeah.
You just let it fester and stick. But it's now going, nah, that's not going to get me where I want to be as I'm doing this sort of stuff.
And it's like the knockbacks we were saying, if we let them just pull us right down, then we aren't going to succeed, unfortunately.
Yeah. How long before you're the main voice at Pittodrie then? Because like you said, you've mentioned you've done stuff, or you do stuff now with the women's team on the Sundays.
Yeah.
How long until you're just the main voice within Pittodrie as a whole?
Well, I mean,
before the bus or after the bus?
The thing is, obviously, with the big Scottish football show, I can't be on the pitch side shouting. So, no, I really enjoy the stuff that I do with Aberdeen.
Yeah.
It was funny. They asked me to do the stadium announcing for the ladies' games. I'm like, yeah, no bother. The first game I did, because in the ladies' league there is quite a big gap between top and bottom in ability, funding, etc. So the first game I did, Aberdeen got beat by Rangers 11-0. And I thought this would be easy to go, all right, number 3 scored, number 5 scored. It was not easy at all. And then I was like, which sub just come off? And I had an absolute mare. I was like, I don't think I'll be invited back.
That's a one and done for this one.
Yeah. So yeah, I've gotten a lot better at that. Because that's something I was like, I'm never going to get the hang of this. This is maybe just something I'm not good at. But even now, like, even if I do make mistakes, nobody cares, right? Like, there was one occasion where now I have to, like, have my bit of paper in front of me, and there was, like, a triple sub. So say it was 5, 6, and 7 that came off. So it was like, 5, Beth Wallace, 6, Jock Damson. And then I went, what was the other number? Woman next to me was like, 7. And then the stadium just started laughing. I was like, oh no.
It's like, well, did that into the mic.
So like, there's no point beating yourself up about that as well. It's just having a laugh at the mistakes and learning as well.
Yeah. So there's a lot still coming, obviously radio wise. There's a lot going with Just Beth Presents. There's a lot coming with the football side of things. What's next for you? What's next on the horizon? When's the next Just Beth Presents?
The next one is on April 10th, so we're trying to do them every second month of the year. Maybe looking doing it one in Edinburgh, a couple down there as well. Started looking to see what like down there, because I do have friends down there, colleagues down there, and it's obviously there's a bigger sort of dance scene as well, so I want to tap into that, just get the name out further, so that side of things from the DJ stuff. Hopefully a couple of things with Mayday will pop up as well, because that's such a big thing in Aberdeen. Radio-wise, just keeping ploughing on with that. I'm always, like people might say, like Mearns, I still do that.
Yeah.
Because it's an opportunity to practice, and practice makes perfect, so that when you do get a shout to be on North Sound or a shout to be on Radio 1, I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. I've done this bit of content. It was good, learning what works as well. So just being consistent with Mearns, which is on a Tuesday morning, 10 o'clock.
Add that to your diaries. Put that into the digital calendar. I think because they're on. Is it digital available for Mearns now?
Yeah, you can get online anywhere. So keep going away with that. Hopefully some cover shows across the year as well. The World Cup will be a big one for us for the football as well. So there'll be lots of stuff happening with that. Granite City Festival will be great as well. So there's lots of stuff coming. It's just slowly but surely.
I've just put that overwhelming thought in there. It's like, crap, there's actually a lot going on this year. There's more than I was thinking about before I came in here. Are you hoping to get over for any of the games for the World Cup?
No.
Or are you also thinking, no, America's just not worth the travel right now?
No, like, with all the carry on and how much it costs to be there, the price of tickets, it has sucked a lot of the excitement and the fun out of it for me, because that's not what football's supposed to be about.
Agreed.
And there's, I think, so much fun to be had at the fan zones that'll pop up, the content opportunities available within our own country.
Yeah,
I was obviously across the Euros in Germany, and that was amazing. But I just don't feel like it'll be the same. And people will go will have an amazing time, and of course I'll go look and go, oh, I'm jealous. But It's a long way to travel. It's an awful lot of money.
Yes.
And I think that's the real unfair thing for people is how much money it's cost. But
yeah, the USA's, having been to America twice, I can't remember how many times I've been over. It's not an easy travel.
no,
I know you're used to travelling regularly, but there's a difference between a couple of hours down to Edinburgh
exactly.
and 3 plane changes and 11 hours
Yeah.
later before you land in the States. It's just not, it's not ideally feasible for folk in the
No.
to travel to, especially not from Scotland. And it's, like you say, the experience of fan zones and stuff up here are going to be so cool.
Yeah, it'd be brilliant. And then, I mean, if we get beat, then
Yeah. You have to travel far to go and
exactly.
drink yourself into a stupor over it. I'm thinking, I can see it now. Let's just get a big projector of some sort down at Castlegate.
Yeah,
Turn that into a nice little fan zone.
might be a bit cold though, because the kickoffs of these games there's like 2 a.m. and that. I know it's summer, but it's an Aberdeen summer.
Totally worth it. But if it's anything like the winter that we've just had, then
Oh,
it should
it's
promise to be an amazing summer.
Yeah, well, you'd hope. If
think
we're going on that rule, then
Aye, let's balance it. If winter was that bad, summer has to be that good. Surely. Surely. Please. I don't want to freeze over summer as well. We've had 2 weeks of bloody snow and then 4 weeks almost of rain. I could do with a bit of sunshine
yeah,
coming
it's been
through.
horrendous.
We had to go to the chemist the other day and just buy more vitamin D tablets.
Yeah.
I think her house is just deficient.
Overdose.
I know, popping tons of them as they go. Well, yeah, you've got a lot coming up for this year.
Yeah.
There is a lot still to happen, but people can keep along with your journey.
Yes.
They can find you online. They can see all the content. They can see the curls. They can see the face post every time you go live. We'll put the tags and everything down in the description below, so expect the description to be about 6 times longer than it usually is, because I do a separate line for every link, which means there's going to be quite a few of them to put in there. I was wondering why my brain just clicked. You said April 10th. I'm like, why does that date stick in my head? Aberdeen Animates is happening on April 10th. It's the exact same night we're putting an event on. We're going to try and send a photographer along to one of your events, though, at some point. We want to get somebody to come along and
cool.
join in and help out with you and capture as much photography and video
Nice.
as possible to save you having to worry about doing the social media side of things.
That's the thing as well. Like you're doing the night, you're trying to film the social media stuff, all the stuff that's happening on the evening. And then if you maybe have too many bevies at a point, that kind of starts to go out your head a wee bit.
So all of a sudden the footage becomes slightly shakier. You're filming a lot more of the floor than you realise to start with as it goes. Well, listen, Beth, you are incredibly busy and we appreciate you taking the time
No, thank
to
you
come
for
and chat
having me.
with
I really
us.
enjoyed this.
It's been an absolute pleasure to have you in. And after the next Just Beth Presents and after things happen throughout the summer, we'll get you back on and see if your face has been on the bus by that point. If not, then we'll see what we can do to make it happen. Thank you again for coming in to see us. It's been
Thank you
greatly
for having me.
appreciated. For everyone who's watching or listening at home, don't forget to follow Beth on all the socials down below. And while you're there, give us a follow, a like, a subscribe, do whatever you need to. We're trying to grow.
Yeah.
We're getting there, slowly but surely. Thank you everyone for watching and listening. We will see you in next week's seasonal discussions every Monday at 8 a.m. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.